Our other big story tonight, we're learning more about former Republican State Representative David Stringer and his troubling past thanks to newly released documents.
Stringer resigned from the House last week after Ethics Committee investigators showed he was charged for paying for sex with teenage boys in the early 80s.
Team 12's Bianca Bono is live for us in the Alert Center. And Bianca, what is in these documents?
Well, Mark Caribe, these documents contain the 24 interviews the Ethics Committee investigators did while looking into Stringer's past. In them, more racist encounters and horrific comments allegedly made by Stringer about children. That's former Republican State Representative David Stringer talking about child sex trafficking. The comments made at a Prescott event in May of last year while talking with activist Marissa Hamilton. Hamilton streaming live on Facebook during their conversation.
I think demagogue on child sex trafficking. That's what upset me.
Hamilton says she later asked Stringer to clarify his comments, which is when she claims he said he didn't think child sex trafficking caused any damage, going on to say, quote, "If an uncle takes his niece or nephew to a playground and they go on the merry-go-round and have some ice cream and then do their thing, that's just part of the experience." This part of just one of the 24 interviews investigators conducted while looking into Stringer's past. The investigation prompted by revelations that Stringer was charged with paying for sex with teenage boys in the 1980s. In another interview, a woman alleges Stringer was discussing his past internship at ASU Prep in Phoenix when he said, quote, "I like being a daddy figure for the little girls when they sit on my lap." The documents also revealing more racist comments allegedly made by the then state leader, including, quote, "Education funding should focus on elite students and provide what they need. Public schools will deal with the special ed and the Mexicans. They will never amount to providing anything to our communities or economy." And House Speaker Rusty Bowers has said it was Stringer's sex abuse allegations, not his racist comments, that triggered their investigation. Stringer and his lawyer have not responded to our request for comment. We're live in the Alert Center. Bianca Bono, 12 News at 10.
All right, Bianca. Now from the